All right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. Got Hunter with me here today as a guest. Hope everyone's doing well. We're just going to be chopping it up, podcast style, just talking hot takes, some news, just, things that are hot right now.
Yeah, so we haven't done a podcast in quite a while. It's been like topic-specific videos, so we feel like we haven't really had a podcast dedicated to the off-season. So we just put together some talking points that we want to go over, and we're going to discuss that today. And first off, we got Diggs is unhappy in Buffalo. Yesterday, he was not in mandatory minicamp. Today, he was there, but I guess yesterday he was there, then he left, and Sean McDermott said he was very concerned, and I guess now it's mended, but what doesn't make sense to me is why make that such a big public issue yesterday if it's a problem that can be resolved in a day? And also, he just signed an extension with the Bills, and he's already done this in Minnesota, publicly make like an issue out of what like the situation. And you saw like him and Josh Allen were arguing last year. So it's like, obviously there's competitors and Diggs seems like a competitor, but he unfollowed all the Buffalo Bills off social media and followed the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't know what's really going on there.
It's just like we were saying, there's just so many red flags about the situation. And seriously, it's like the more I think about it, just the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Superstar guy, you're paying him all this money. In the first day really on contract on this new money, going to turn around and make a fool of the situation, make the team a trending topic.
Yeah.
Just a bad look. Like we were saying with the Vikings too, it's kind of like, is this how Stephon Diggs acts when he gets upset?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Diggs, and like obviously he's the top 5 receiver in the league. I just like we were talking about before we restarted, like genuinely, like where does he go? Like where does he go? Like if he wants to compete for and be on a perennial Super Bowl contender, the Bills are probably the best shot he's got, but unless he goes to the NFC and goes to like the Cowboys, like we were talking about, or the Chiefs if they can make it work financially. But it's not going to be Cincinnati. It's not going to be Philadelphia. So it's like, where do you go outside of those teams that you want to compete? Unless it's all about money, but it doesn't make sense. He got paid.
That's what I'm saying. Like the whole thing just literally makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Like you were saying, the only thing that makes any sense realistically here is if he lost faith in the Bills. And it's like, okay, but again, from a professional standpoint, from all these things, it's like, why would you do that? You're just not in a position to do that, in my opinion.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because it's like, you're there for the next how many, 3-4 years?
Bro, my thing is too, you do this right now. Like, I feel like you rub a lot of people in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And like we said, you're there for all this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't want to start off a tenure like that. And again, from a psychology standpoint, think to yourself, he's doing that on purpose to make them think that, to go, maybe we don't want him around this for all this time.
Well,
because if you just sit around and you don't want to be there and you just act like everything's fine, then they don't have any reason to push you out the door.
Yeah. Also, another thing that I am interested in is last year, after like the first half of the year, it didn't really feel like it was the Bills' year. And everyone was chalking it up to, oh, it's the Bills' year. What if we don't see like that success past like a week 5-6 this year? Like, to me, this is like a situation where the tension is only going to build higher and higher and higher. And there's going to be an issue further down the road. But it's like, you're signed to that extension. His contract makes him pretty much untradeable this year. I don't know the details for next year, but it's like you're creating friction in a situation that you're going to be forced to be in for the next couple years. I don't know. If the Bills are looking to compete for a while, which I assume they are by signing Josh Allen to that massive contract, what is this doing?
Well, it's like, dude, at this point, I mean, seriously, it's like, you just don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. Did he say something to Josh Allen where now Josh Allen is never the same with him? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what it is. That's like, we won't know. But it's like we're saying, and like I was saying, dude, you go back to that last game they played together in Cincinnati, or I mean, in Buffalo against Cincinnati. Again, get your ass kicked at home in your weather. All those things that went into play. It's like, I don't know. Seems like things really just soured that day as where we're at right now.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like the Bills, like this was kind of like not talked about after that game. But it's like in reality, if they take Diggs out of that offense, like who? Gabe Davis is your 2?
We know how that went for me. Fantasy.
It's just like they don't have that established running game. So it's like you lose Diggs, it's kind of like, okay, the Bills, what seed are they? Realistically, what seed are they in the AFC playoffs?
Well, and it's like, look, if Josh Allen comes back again this year, doing that reckless bullshit, because y'all know I was not a fan of it. It was just garbage. We don't expect from Josh Allen.
Right.
It was being a little nice on him on the rankings, but just, stuff you can't do. Right.
Right.
I'm sure stuff like that too is what it goes along in Stefan's mind, where he's seen Mahomes out here doing all the crazy stuff with no turnovers. And he's like, dude, you got to stop. Like, I'm sure it's like, again, stuff we'll never be in the room for.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's stuff like that is the reason. If I had to take a guess, it would just be all that stuff adding up. With that you remember the image where you stand and watch the Chiefs go, move on. It's like, it's just like this storyline where it's like Stefan, like we're saying, he wants to go all the way.
Right.
And it's like, that's not happening in Buffalo. So it's like there's the friction being created. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, it's not easy. And it's like, if you weren't on the Chiefs, it's really not like, or the Bengals, any other situation, you're still be in the same situation. And we know those aren't viable situations anyway. It's just, the whole thing's a mess. And again, it kind of like that point I was going on earlier, but I don't know, dude. People just need to be with the grind. This era of superstars has gotten to like the second something's not going their way, like I want a new situation. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's just not how things are going to go.
I think a big thing too on that is this isn't like the NBA. Like, it's not like if a Dame, for example, went to a team that was 1 star away, it would make such an impact. Like, like a top tier superstar in the NFL, like a Rodgers going to the Jets, like he could realistically take them to the next level. But that's because he's playing the hardest position in sports. He's a quarterback. Beyond being a quarterback, you're out there there's 21 other starters. So it's like not only is it 22, the amount of players out there compared to like a 5, which a starting 5 in basketball. It's just like teams are not going to move like heaven and earth if you're not a quarterback to go get you, because it's proven it's going to kill them from a cap standpoint, and it's not going to allow them to compete.
No, yeah, and it's like, dude, I'll stand on it forever. I always have. I'll stick with it forever. Like teams, when you see this type of stuff, right? Like you see how he's acting.
Yeah.
It's like, from my perspective, if you're a team with pedigree and you want to go all the way, it's almost like, I don't want that guy.
No.
Because it's like, I clearly see how he gets when things aren't going his way.
Yeah.
And it's like, things aren't going to be going his way every day of this year. It just isn't life. So, and you know what I mean? And I think, again, from like a standpoint of if you're going to be the guy then to want to make the move, me personally, feel like that's a huge turnoff. So it's almost like you're doing yourself wrong. You're doing yourself bogus by
a disservice. Yeah.
But again, though, it's like, there's just no winning, because then we wouldn't know about the situation, and we wouldn't know he's unhappy if he didn't tell us. There's just no winning it, unfortunately. That's not. But again, though, there was a way. That's why you just don't sign the contract if you don't want to be there. There actually is a way to win the situation.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a lot of like, I'll sign the contract and then move me. So it's like he already has the contract and then he kind of gets to determine where he goes. But I don't think it works in this situation. Like, I don't get this negotiate this. If it's truly an internal issue that they can work out, I don't understand the point of making it public for one day.
No, exactly. Whole thing makes no sense.
But let's move on to our next topic. Young QBs set to break out or bust. So we just took a couple young QBs that are in their 2nd or 3rd year and just, based on their situation this year, their past, whether they are set to break out or bust. So the first one I'm going to give you is Mac Jones.
All right, bro. So my thing is, all right, so, we pull up the Patriots. We say, all right, look, the reality situation is, and, like I was saying before, I don't really think the Patriots offense is anything. I mean, again, the Patriots offense is, you got a good old, you got a good old line group.
It's mid.
But it's so mid. It's so mid. And so with Mac Jones, who, again, we saw Mac Jones rookie year, we were like, hey, Mac Jones, man, like, looking like kind of how he did. He was not going to look as good as he did at Alabama. Historically, just throwing that ball so accurate, just so a lot of things going perfect, but it was never going to be that. But hey, he looks really good, The Belichick, it's going to be his new guy. It was kind of the narrative. Next year, I'm trying to think like a nickname for him, but I just can't. It was the Crybaby Jones era.
Yeah,
like,
he was whining about a lot.
Dude, yeah, the Crybaby Jones era last year. And so, then the narrative starts to kind of flip. And at least for me right now, yeah, too, I don't want to, crybaby's not the right word, but yeah, a lot of, public whining. And, you're the face of the franchise. It's not a good look. But, you're still a young guy, has a chance to turn around this year. But I think this really's got to be the year because we know the Patriots aren't going to be fucking around. If he's not the guy after this year, they're moving on. There's no doubt. Whether it's a public moving on, like trading him, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be something along those lines. But I think it'd be much more along the lines of like, all right, dude, like that next process is starting. Like we are looking for the next guy. We are trying to trade up for the next guy. Whatever it might be, I have no doubt that if this isn't the year for Mac Jones, it's like we got to get the wheels rolling because Belichick only has however much time left. We don't know. Only he knows at this point. So. I'm sure he doesn't want to be playing around with a mid quarterback situation. No. It's just not what they're going to be doing.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second regarding Mac Jones. I don't necessarily like that he was like publicly, I guess, whining, but at the same time, like Bill Belichick fucked him last year. Okay, so he had Jacoby Myers, he had Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith.
Fallen off versions.
That's what I'm saying. So and then they had what, Matt Patricia calling plays? Like, okay, so listen,
that's where it gets atrocious.
You're in a second year of development. You're in a system that has historically been very rigid. I'm not talking about like an offensive play system. I'm talking about just like the Patriots way of things, right? Like they're like, you got to be the guy. You got to do this. You got to do all your roles. Respect. I get it. But at the end of the day, Bill Belichick, it's like the Patriots haven't evolved to that like player coach like respect level. Like, like you don't treat players the same way you treat them. Like you have to be more of like a build them up instead of like a be hard on them, right? And it's like just because Mac Jones is in the situation that he's in doesn't mean that we should, in my opinion, like give him more flack. Like if you look at like a Burrow, like a Zach Taylor, or like these young like offensive minded coaches, like that was the thing. Like look at Brian Flores and Tua. We thought Tua was a bust, and the jury's still out. I mean, his health concerns, but with Mike McDaniels, obviously he's got the fastest receivers in the league, but he played much better than he did with Brian Flores, and I could feel like that could be kind of a similar situation because Brian Flores is all about the Patriot way. So if when you have these young offensive-minded head coaches that like really nurture their young quarterbacks, and then you have a Bill Belichick who's so stuck in his ways of doing things, who refuses to upgrade the pass catchers or like this all-star offense. I mean, like D-Hop would be nice, but what? You have D-Hop and Juju Smith-Schuster? Like that's still not what you need. So it's just kind of like, I think Mac Jones could, and then also with the Bailey Zappi thing, way to kill just a person's confidence. And with him going out and whining, it's also like, well, dude, you threw me under the bus. So why would I ever have your back? But I don't know.
Well, but like, I don't get me wrong. I agree with you saying completely. I do. I think it's just like, I completely do. On the other hand, though, it's like you remember when Mac Jones got drafted. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say what I'm trying to think, like what I'm thinking. But we remember, Mac Jones hit this jolly walk, cheesing. Like he had to know. Like this was not going to be any other team. Like this is going to be more challenging. Like this is the team with the pedigree, with the guys, the ownership group, like they have vision. And the thing is, if you're not going to fully tailor to that vision, shit's not going to go. And I get what you're saying. I do agree. But like we're saying, Belichick's got to get to the point where he realizes, because again, I don't think he's ever realized this because it would probably hurt very hard to realize this to an extent. Because again, you kind of are pushing more of the responsibility of how good the dynasty was onto him, like Tom. But the reality situation is like we've said and acknowledged, nobody ever is going to be able to play with his, I don't want to say poor, but just average receiving
lackluster
receiving cores as Brady did and go far/go all the way. Like there's just a completely different awareness level that he had in everything, like every single formation. He had so many different, the way he saw the game is never going to be like any of these young guys he'll ever have. It's just never going to happen that way. Because again, as we said, and as we knew, Brady had some time, but even before he was a starter, where he had some time to sit there and learn. Yeah. Where Max never had. He's had now time, but you get my point. It's just not the same situation. It's not the same era of football either. That's the biggest thing. Like running the run pass game, it's not the same as it used to be. It's much more pass heavy. It's just, you need pass catchers. Yeah. You need at least one dominant pass catcher. And it's like, when's the last time that's happened?
A true number one.
Literally, I'm not trying to, because I could be really wrong here, but when's the last time that's happened for the Patriots besides Randy Moss? And besides, Gronk does not. I'm not talking about like receiver. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, besides.
They have not been. They've been really bad in the draft with wide receivers, and they just have not spent money on those skill players outside of tight ends. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith cash out. Like what the? And it's like now in hindsight, what are we doing? I don't know. I mean, we know. Yeah, I still believe in the Patriots, but it's this really weird waning belief.
Yeah,
like
it's the longer it goes on, the more and more I believe that like Bill Belichick will have to go to another team if he wants to win another ring.
Which is the weirdest thing, like ever.
What if he goes to
some Phil Jackson stuff going on?
The Browns.
That would be so funny, and it almost would seem kind of like legendary. Honestly,
because
like,
I'd go back.
I'd be so there for it. Like, dude, that's the ultimate storyline. Bill comes back. They kicked him out initially. He's like, I had to get my shit together. You know, like I had to get my. And then he's like, they're begging for me back.
6 rings later.
Like, where would you be? Like, he's like, it's like the circle connects. He's like, if you guys never fired me, I never would have been me. So it's like, hold on now. Now that I'm me, I got to come and help y'all get to where you need to be.
Yep.
I don't know, dude. It's some weird universal circular shit going on. But hey, look, we're here for it at YDKB. Belichick to the Browns, baby. Send it.
Breakout or bust, Mac Jones. I'm going bust this year. I don't think it's a bust as a career, but bust this year.
Yeah, I'm going bust this year. I could really see this Patriots tenure just like waning out on him.
I could also see just another mediocre year for him.
Yeah, no, I think, I'm
3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns,
12 interceptions.
Yeah, something like that.
I think the trajectory we're seeing, bro, is I'm starting to see like Mac Jones will sign that second contract with another team. I really do think it's going to be that way.
Okay. Breakout or bust, Kenny Pickett.
This one's fun because I think a lot of people probably disagree with me. I think a lot of people are just Steelers haters, but I'm going breakout for Kenny P, bro.
Okay.
Like I think I
can see it.
I think I like a lot of intangible things about Kenny P's game. I like how good he is at the end of the game. It's the most important thing, dude. A lot of quarterbacks are really good the whole game and then will shit the bed at the end. It's kind of them the opposite for Kenny P, which is fine though. I'd much rather have that. I'd much rather have you struggling with all the concepts at the beginning of games when it doesn't matter, and then really locking in and being able to get it done when it does matter. Yeah, because it just shows me you focus more when time matters, and that's fine. I would much prefer that. I don't, we can work around other stuff.
Yeah, so the downfall of Kenny P will be Matt Canada. You're not lying. They plugged the O-line. The O-line is, I won't say it's fit. They filled in spots where they need to fill it in. Obviously, it can always be better, but because they got Broderick Jones and they signed Isaac Samalu, right? Okay, so they got that. They have Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, A-Rob. They got A-Rob for what, a 7th?
Yeah, the A-Rob move could be crazy.
Darnell Washington. So
the Darnell Washington too.
The Steelers,
Pat Freiermuth.
They're looking loaded on offense, and they have Najee Harris, who I think will play better this year. Let me not say that because I still want to get him, but I think we'll play better this year under an offense that has a better O-line and more options, because it's like A-Rob is really like it's like literally like a boomer bust thing. Like they got him for nothing, and he could also be a great wide receiver 3 for them. So I like Kenny Pickett. I like his intangibles, like you said, because he's just like, when he got taken in that first round, like everyone was like, "Oh, he's not a first round quarterback." Like it was like the jury's still out, and if he should have been taken in the first round. So I'm gonna lean more towards breakout for Kenny P this year.
Hey, Kenny P breakout, bro. I'm telling you again, that sounds weird right now, especially when we've seen with the 2 gloves out there. The whole situation is just a little bit funky. But the Steelers, bro, we know Mike Tomlin. This is the best situation. This is not the best, but when you're young, this is one of the best situations you can be in.
He's a coach you want when you're a young player. All right. Breakout. Oh, I'm going to restart that. Breakout or bust, Justin Fields.
Hey, we know. We got to go. Breakout for Justin.
Got to be breakout.
It's got to be a breakout for Justin for multiple reasons. But I think, as we've been saying too, main thing is you'd agree with. It's just the Bears went all in on getting him weapons.
So here's what I'm going to say, because I'm a Bears fan, so there's obviously going to be some bias here. Even when the Bears in 2018 made the run in the playoffs, or not made the run in the playoffs, made the run to the playoffs, and the defense was amazing, I will say I thought Mitch was good. Obviously, we learned that he wasn't. But I never have felt a way about a quarterback in Chicago like I have about Justin Fields. It's a different feeling, and they have DJ Moore, they got Claypool, whatever you think about that, their wide receiver room goes down a peg. You got DJ Moore, Claypool, Mooney, then you have Tanyan, Kmet, you have St. Brown as your 5, he's just a blocking. You got Tyler Scott, who I heard was doing, who was a steal in the draft. You got Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert. The offense is good. They plugged the line. The only thing they got to work on is Cody Whitehair, but that's not an immediate fix. Justin Fields is poised to break out this year. A lot of people who don't watch the Bears think because they were 3-14, they're bad. There was a lot of one-score games. And the Vikings were what? 12-5, 13-4 last year?
13-4.
13-4 and had 9 or 11 one-score games. I cannot remember.
11. I remember because I got corrected on this.
Yeah. They were lighting your ass.
They were lighting my ass up for this when I had to get my shit together.
All I'm saying is, if you think the Vikings were good last year and think the Bears were the Bears might have been the best 3-14 team there ever was.
No lie. And bro, I'm going to say, I'll just be the one to say it because people might get on my ass for this, but I'm excited because this take's going to age like, what's something that ages well?
Wine.
But that was too easy. This shit's going to age like, John Stamos. No, bro, jokes aside, look, bro, y'all really might have a top 5 O-line in the league this year. Like by the end of the year, this could be like top 3, top 5 unit. Like, I mean, seriously, like, all right, so let's just start over here. Braxton Jones had a fantastic rookie year. And y'all, if you've been listening to this,
round.
if you know my thing that I've been on for a long time on this show, it's literally been for years now. Before we had more fans watching, appreciate y'all for real. But the thing is like, look, like say for years now, tackles that are drafted in those late rounds that have that quick start to their career are always the future Hall of Fame guys. Like it's just this weird thing that like is a thing every year. There'll be a guy drafted like round 3 through 5 that just comes in 3 through even 6, 7. Like it's sometimes really rare 6, 7 guys, but where they just come in right away and fucking ball. Like remember Mike Onwenu for the Patriots a few years ago? Like I can name a bunch of examples of this guy.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I do, but okay.
He's been a beast for a while. And it's like, that's the thing is there are these guys where every year someone will come in 5th, 6th, 4th round and just be a beast. That was Braxton Jones last year. So it's like, you got a perennial guy over there at left tackle. Tevin Jenkins, been my guy since he got drafted. Again, started off on the wrong foot with tackle because he's not a tackle.
He's a guard.
They learned that. He's a fucking beast. He just knocks people over when you're standing low. That's what you guys got him doing. 3rd highest rated guard in the league last year. And like you said, Cody Whitehair is really the only thing you're not a huge fan of, but it's not like the worst situation in the world.
He's like average.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'll take league average as my worst.
You'll take a guy right in the middle. Again, it's just for one guy in the line. And then Gabe Davis, and then Darnell Wright's going to be a fucking beast.
Not Gabe Davis, Nate Davis.
Yeah, dude, I don't know why I just said Gabe Davis.
Nate Davis.
Nate and Gabe. Something about him's a little similar. I mixed them up. But yeah, no, seriously, like you guys have a fantastic line. Cole Kmet too, rock solid blocker. We know he's not the greatest tight end in the world, but hey, like in the run game, he's gonna get the job done.
Yeah.
And the Bears are still gonna be run first team. The pass obviously is gonna be a highlight. They're gonna try to emphasize it a lot more, but they're never gonna change the core of the team. They're gonna be a running team. That's the strength of the team.
I think that's obviously gonna help Justin a lot. And here's the thing. Okay, so one of the big talking points at the beginning of the year was, oh, should they trade Justin? Should they try to get Bryce Young? And people were one of the main arguments for that was you reset the quarterback contract. Okay. Besides receiver, where does most of your money go on offense? The tackles. We have a tackle in the 5th round that's on his 2nd year and a 1st round tackle this year. So you're going to save on those contracts right now. So you have the money
for
even if you pay
3 years.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I get the resetting, but like beyond receiver, you already have DJ Moore on a cheap contract.
Well, and also, like, and to the thing about Bryce Young, bro, like, realistically, it's just for the way the Bears, the system right now and everything. Yeah. You bring in Bryce, that will never work again. It doesn't, you don't have that dual threat. It's just, yeah, Bryce is good on his feet, but it's not the same shit. It just never will be that way. If he needs to escape, he'll pull it out. But we know for his size stuff, that's never going to be how he plays. It cannot be. So yeah, it just, they would have taken out an entire element of how they succeed. And it just, that in itself just kind of would be hard.
Okay. So breakout for Justin Fields.
Oh, yeah, we're breaking out.
Breakout or bust, Trey Lance.
Well, as we know, it's very contingent. And if he could somehow take starting job or something happens to Purdy. So I give the two-way answer. Like, seriously, if he can find a way to get playing time and like get out there with the starters, whether it's through injury or actually winning the job, rare chance. But again, I'm just speaking hypothetically. I think there's no way he's not going to have a good year. Like, it's kind of just, you're starting for the Niners, you're going to have a good year. Even if Sam Darnold found his way out there, Sam Darnold could put up like a Pro Bowl season. You know what I mean?
I agree. Something I also want to point out about Trey Lance, he's only 23. So
It's
he's
crazy.
very, very young. And I think he's one of those guys where it's just going to be like, he needs to change the scenery. Like, and so this is something that we'll talk about later. But you remember like the Trey Lance to Minnesota rumors were kind of like, oh, sorry.
Little alarm.
Yeah, I just got to repeat that just to check the cameras. But anyway, Trey Lance to Minnesota rumors. Well, from my understanding, I saw something today that we'll talk about a little bit later. Unless we want to talk about it now. Kirk Cousins is not. Let's talk about this later. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings are not having contract extension talks.
We're definitely going to bring this back up later.
So my thing is like, I think he needs to change the scenery. And barring a injury to Brock Purdy, there's no way Trey Lance starts. And I also think they don't want to play Lance because if he gets hurt, they cannot get anything for him. And that's a reason why they signed Darnold.
No, yeah. Dude, quietly, I'm sure there are still calls being made. Because again, John Lynch can sit here all he wants and tell me that he's part of the future. It's his job. He doesn't want to make Trey feel uncomfortable. Doesn't want to make that situation awkward at practice. I get it. It's his job. But the reality is, dude, there's no way that at least once a week he has not talked to one team, at least once a week, and just kind of just chopped it up. Just throwing details out there. Obviously, they come nowhere close to an agreement. Nothing's actually set. But there's no doubt like that. Those talks happen. Like it has to, because again, he's not just sitting on an asset worth as much as Trey Lance with his thumb. Like it's just not what it is. No, it would make no sense because Trey Lance is such a high value asset. Even though we're not seeing him out on the field, probably a top 4 or 5 highest valued asset on the Niners, and the Niners have tons of assets.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go bust this year for Trey Lance. So,
he's very contingent on his situation.
Yeah, and also if Purdy can do what he did last year. It's going to be interesting. Breakout or bust Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence kind of had like a mini breakout last year, more towards the end of the year. But I think he's going to break out and be a top 7 QB statistically, even higher. Like, I think really like with Calvin Ridley coming in the second year under Doug Peterson, that offense is kind of flowing. Christian Kirk. They got Travis Etienne again, the second year off the injury. So I think he's getting even better. I just think that Jags offense is really going to be something to like be fucked with. Like that's something where it's like, yeah, like the Jags are going to be in a very competitive AFC. I feel like they're going to be the clear-cut winners for the AFC South for the next couple of years unless the Titans figure out their quarterback situation fast.
No, absolutely. And just from a schematical standpoint, like the way Doug Peterson runs his offense, they're just going to be so hard to defend. The way that they combine plays look the exact same with just little nuances that are a little bit different. Like that's the Jaguars. That is Doug Peterson. That's why the Eagles were so successful with him. Yeah. And it's like, now we're at the point where, yeah, like you're saying, dude, I could see Trevor Lawrence throwing, I'll even throw like a number right here, like 49 to 4,800 yards.
Yeah.
And like 35 plus touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like you could see that, like that kind of year from him. Like no doubt.
I could see 40 touchdowns.
Bro, easily. Because from a physical standpoint too, like Trevor Lawrence is not worried about anybody else in terms of like coming for his spot, in terms of like, he's a bigger, better, that he has the perfect, that was his thing coming out. He has the perfect build. I mean, you really can't like structure a quarterback in a lab like better than Trevor Lawrence besides like speed. But again, it's talking from like a throwing standpoint. There's not guys that really come built like him a lot, like mentally with all the tools. So we know he has it. Now it's just honing it.
Breakout Trevor Lawrence. We'll keep this one quick because it's a caveat. Anthony Richardson, the only rookie on this list. The only reason I have him on here is because I think he has the best chance to have like kind of like a star-studded rookie season in terms of like, he's just such an athletic freak. And I like that Shane Steichen's the guy that's there, Eagles guy who, helped Jalen Hurts develop. I feel like they're going to kind of use that plan for him. And it's just like, if the Colts line can pick it up, if JT can pick it up, if Pittman Jr. and Pierce can just be like serviceable, like to the point where it's like, if he throws you the ball, he's confident that you'll catch it type thing. I think Anthony Richardson has probably the best chance to develop the quickest out of any of the quarterbacks coming into the league. Develop, not be the best. Develop the best and have the best. I mean, I think he'll be the best rookie quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to have the best career out of all the rookies for the quarterbacks, but I think he's going to be the best rookie quarterback.
No, I mean, like, 100%. And we're talking about I always say Pro Bowls don't mean a lot because they really don't. But
Yeah.
in this sense, for being a rookie in that situation, it would be significant.
Yeah.
I do think I could see him having like a Pro Bowl year, instantly being that Colts fan favorite because again, he's very much in line for it. It's not like that's a surprise to anybody. But yeah, if he comes out this year, and I think here's how I'd picture it happening. Again, like we're saying, the Shane Steichen offense, I could easily see him finding a way to get that game plan going for A-Rich, where even if he's having not the best game, maybe like 120 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, it's like, hey, he's still going to go out there and rush for like 80 to 100 yards, keep that clock moving, keep the game close. Because again, at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing about why that stuff's so important too, is like, when you can run with your quarterback, you control the clock, right? So it's like him and JT, even if you're not putting up a ton of points, if you can fucking control the ball for 12 minutes and then score a touchdown, like that's how Colts are going to win the games this year. And it's possible. And they're definitely going to win a few games with that combination. So I could see the Colts fans get kind of in mass getting A-Rich to the Pro Bowl this year. And that would kind of be the start of like that great arc of the career we see him having. So I definitely see it kind of like a Cam Newton start to the career.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely needs to start out hot. All right. We're going to move on to our next segment. Coaches on the hot seat. These are coaches that, barring a bad to horrific season, could lose their job. First off, Brandon Staley, the Los Angeles Chargers head coach. I think if they lose, he's gone. Because I believe this is the last year that I think after this year, Herbert would be eligible for an extension, right?
Yeah.
Would it be his third year? So wait, no, that's not right.
No,
no, that is right. That is right. Because Fields was after him.
No, yeah.
So this would be his fourth year then.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, bro. Time flies.
Bro, hold on. Let me make sure that I'm not wrong.
But this will be the fourth one.
Yeah. So I think the main thing with this is like, 2021, 2022, and 2020. Okay, yeah. So this is fourth year. So I don't like Staley. I don't think he is everything that everyone chalks him up to be. And like my thing is like repeatedly the Chargers underperform. So it's just like every year I hear, we got the core. And they don't do anything. And I just think it's like, is it going to be another Phillip Rivers situation? Where it's like, remember when they had, I think it was the best offense and the best defense in the league, but their special teams was last and they just didn't do anything. It's like, is it the same perpetual, like, we're good, but not good enough? It's the Vikings in a nutshell.
It is. And it's like, if my thing with Brandon Staley, bro. And things been like this for a while. What kills me about a guy like Brandon Staley is, again, I'm sure Staley knows tons of football. He knows his stuff. There's no doubt. Great football mind.
Yeah.
But again, when I watch Staley, any big moment, and I think we would use that last playoff loss, I think it would be like a very big supporting example of how stuff like this, how it's the way he is how stuff like that happens. Follow me here for a sec. Because again, a guy like Staley, nobody's afraid to fuck up around him. Like there's no behind the scenes like players talking like, hey, bro, like we really need to do this because if we don't, like Staley's going to fuck us up. I guarantee that has never been spoken once in the locker room. You think, but again, with Harbaugh, Belichick, just great coaches, Tomlin, are you kidding me? They're literally certainly dialogue behind the scenes like, well, we sure as hell are going to be there. It would do this because if we don't, Tomlin's going to fucking sock us in the face. You know what I'm saying? And it's like shit that doesn't exist with Staley. And that's why stuff like what happened last year happens.
In the playoffs.
Because you're in it for just the money, the experience. There's no like, if we lose, Staley's going to really rail off. I'm not going to be here next year. There is none of that. Staley's he's the guy wearing the hat. He's in charge. No one gives a shit. If anything, actually, people would prefer a guy like that in charge because it makes it easier to just not give a fuck when you're working. Not that the Chargers aren't a good team. Not that the Chargers aren't in line to be Super Bowl contenders as we know they are. That's actually the point of why having Staley such a detriment, in my opinion, because you really are just having that fucking drill sergeant type of coach who's going to get everybody working really hard and get everyone to stay in line away from being like perennially contending.
Right.
And it's something against Staley. I'm sure he's a great guy. But he's young and he does not, in my opinion, control the locker room the way you have to control a locker room like of that caliber.
I agree. I think he's gone after this year. He doesn't have that like it factor to me. And like his defenses have been so. And they have the guys.
Again, he left the Rams and they won the Super Bowl the next year, Yeah,
I don't know. All right. This is going to be kind of a shock for some people because I feel like Dallas is very split on him. I think Mike McCarthy having a bad year, like let's say like the Cowboys don't make it out of the first round. He's got to be gone, right? Like he's got to be gone, especially with like Gilmore and Cooks being added. He has to be gone.
Well, it's like if you're Jerry Jones, you have to be saying like he's gone. Because I'll give you a scenario I was just thinking of. If the Cowboys had Sean Payton right now, would you have any doubt they would find a way to get the job done in the next 3 or 4 years? Like I would have literally no doubt they'll find themselves in the promised land. And I'm just using one example.
Oh, their offense
like if
would
they
have
had
been
Sean
so
Payton.
cool.
So it's like that's the thing is when you look at it from that perspective, like I could have cut this check to one of these other motherfuckers. I cut it to you. You're not getting the shit done for me. It's simple. You have to go. Because again, it's just the factor of like what I could have done instead.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just disrespectful to myself to hold you in here. Because again, that other guy could be there again. And if I miss the opportunity 2 times, it's kind of like fuck me kind of situation. It's like, well, I'll be damned if I'm going to do that twice. Because you know me, I like Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy is a great football mind. But recently, he hasn't been getting the job done because the job done for the Cowboys is to at least make the NFC Championship. At least.
It has to be. I mean, like, it has to be. It has to be.
They're way too talented. Again, they're way too talented for minimal results. Minimal results is just making the playoffs.
All right. This one will hit home. Dennis Allen.
There's no doubt. Dennis Allen's on the hot seat.
I personally did not think he was going to last year.
No, I didn't either. But I think that's just more the ownership group of the our the people that are really in charge of things. I think they're very it's more of like a family approach where it's we'll give you were here for a really long time. Like I'll give you one more year. But again, sometimes I do worry. It's like, especially now, it's like, are the Saints going to be a little too lenient with him? Because again, if we don't at least, I'm not thinking of a good baseline for him, but I'll say making the playoffs. That's actually would be my expectations this year. In the weak NFC South, all we'd have to do is make the playoffs. Obviously, it's not all you want to do, but that would be like warranting him to keep his job. First playoff appearance actually would be of his career. This will be his 5th season coaching. So I think that's just, if anything, that's just the way I would look at it. If you've had half a decade coaching and you can't make the offs once, I have to let you go. Right? I mean, I think that's just logical.
Yeah. I agree.
I like Dennis Allen. I think Dennis Allen really, I love Dennis Allen as a dude. He seems like a great guy, the type of guy you want to bring around your family. But that doesn't really matter right now because now I need him to become a great coach. You know, so shouts to the DA, but we need you to step it up. With the W's this year.
I think he's gone. All right, moving on. Next, we got Ron Rivera. I'll say this: I don't know how he's still there. To be honest, I know their quarterback situation has been really bad, but it's just like. I don't know what I've seen. Like, I don't know. Like, the team to me has like no identity.
Literally none.
It's like when I was watching Nagy with the Bears, like you couldn't tell what they were supposed to be.
That's literally exactly them. I never even thought of it that way, but like, yes, the Bears with Nagy had no identity. It's the same thing.
Like it's like you look at it like a competitive team and you know what they're about. Like when the Rams were good and won the Super Bowl that year, you knew what the Rams were.
You can even just get like buzzwords for them. It's like you'd have words to describe the team. That shit does not exist for the Commanders. I can't think of one.
And it's a shame because I really like their receiving core, and I like their D line. But I just my thing is I think they brought Bieniemy in for a reason, and I think with the new ownership group, I think after this year they're going to get rid of Rivera. I could see Rivera. If there's odds out there. I could see, wouldn't want this. I would never want anyone to lose their job, but I could see him being the first coach fired.
No, like you were saying, I cannot believe, respectfully, Ron, great dude, what he's been through, very commendable. But again, from a football standpoint, why does he still have the job? It makes no sense. And I think I've always looked at it like this. I think the only reason he does still have that job is because whoever hired him thinks incredibly highly of that Panthers tenure, where it's like, we're going to get back to this, like building a small market team from the ground up to the Super Bowl. But it just doesn't seem like that. And more years you wait on with this, it just gets worse and worse.
I agree. Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. He's kind of set up to have like a horrible season. So my thing is like, I feel like if the Bucs are going to get rid of him, it's already kind of written. You know what I'm saying? Unless he somehow takes them to the 7th seed with Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. I just don't understand like how he keeps his job after this year. Aging roster, expensive roster.
And I think, again, I keep saying this, but it's true. From a personal standpoint, I think Todd Bowles is a great guy. You listen to Todd Bowles, you look at Todd Bowles, you're like, Todd Bowles is a great guy. Same thing. You want to have him around your family, good dude. But I don't think he can, from when I hear him, what I see, I don't think he necessarily has that X factor to control a locker room of alphas. Just the way he talks, the way that he goes about things on the sideline. You just never see them. You never see the getting upset. You never see the them putting someone in their place. And I'm sure if you were to ask these type of people, they would say to you, like, that's just not how I operate. I prefer those things to be behind closed doors, etc. again, hey, I totally understand. But then again, here we are at this point where if that's how you're going to live your whole life, then you're going to have people like me that are going to say to you, well, dude, if you're going to operate that way, then you're going to lose your job to somebody that's not going to operate that way, that's willing to step out the box and do that shit publicly. Reality situation, right? I mean,
the Bucks have $400,000 in cap space right now, as of June 2nd from CBS.
And they did just get Kalan's contract done, so I do believe that might have just gone like slightly negative.
I think they may have accounted for it because like first round picks can only, there's like a scale.
That is true.
So, but yeah, no, it's I'd be surprised if he was there.
Hey, he did get a ring with the with the Arians crew though. So even if he leaves, worst comes to worst, Todd Bowles, you're Super Bowl champion. So.
I mean, he'll get a job as a DC somewhere else. It's just I don't know if he's cut out to be a head coach.
Him and Staley are literally like that exact same thing. Great football mind. They know tons of stuff. You got him in a room, they sure as shit would know almost anything. A lot of 99.9% of people wouldn't. But
I'd rather have Todd as my head coach over Staley though, easily.
Yeah, no,
because someone has a ring. Yeah. All right, this is gonna throw some for a loop. Robert Saleh. This is our last one.
We said we knew Jets fans are going to be up. Like right when you heard that, you got hot. I get it. But again, we're just keeping shit realistic here. And in terms of keeping things realistic, if the Jets don't have a good year, who else is going to get blamed? It doesn't make any. It has to be Saleh. It literally doesn't. Nothing else would make any sense. Oh, what? We're going to trade away one of our young superstars? No. Oh, what? We're going to get rid of A-Rod? No. Do you tell me? I mean, it's just being realistic. If things don't work out, the only logical situation is that Saleh finds his way out the door.
Oh my God, Mike McCarthy comes back.
Jets fans are puking.
Yeah, that would be disgusting. Yeah, I don't know. I like Saleh a lot, and I know he's been pinned with the likes of Zach Wilson, but also I don't necessarily know if Robert Saleh was like the right coach for Zach Wilson.
Dude, and it's one of those things where it's like I've been saying that since that he got signed, where it's like Robert Saleh, awesome dude. Everyone says awesome dude. I have no doubt. He seems like just a great guy, fun dude. But again, I don't know, something about that combo.
I don't know.
With young, what's the word? Like entitled. Everyone's like they're saying entitled for Zach Wilson. Like just some like that combination. Just you get my point. Entitled is not the right word, but just you get what I'm saying. The young stud from BYU. Like it's just. That combo just it never felt right and it never will.
I just think like here's the thing is like the reason I think they got A-Rod was not only to get A-Rod and compete in their window that they have now, but it's also to hopefully groom Zach Wilson into being like a starting quarterback in the league. So it's not a waste of the number 2 overall pick.
Right.
So I don't know. I just feel like something's got to give. I could definitely see them giving Saleh one more year, obviously, since they got Rodgers. But beyond that, I just don't know if they don't see success or a deep playoff run, what they're going to do.
I almost think it's 8 for Saleh this year. It sucks because again, he didn't put himself in this position. This is the position he got put into. But if you don't make a deep playoff run this year, it might be hard to not terminate that contract. I mean, it's just from business standpoint, this shit is the way it is,
So that is the end of Coach on the Hot Seat. We got a lot of topics here. Let's just do 2 more. Okay. I want to talk about the Seahawks before we go into Dalvin Cook and D-Hop. I think the Seahawks are going to be a top 3 seed in the NFC.
I can definitely see it.
It's just like, okay.
So I'm going to pull up.
Let's pull up the NFC teams right now. Because, okay, I'm basically counting the Eagles and the Eagles to be the 1 seed. Here's what I will say. I don't know how high people are on the 49ers this year, but I'm definitely on the downturn for them because their O-line got a lot weaker. And I understand they're like a scheme team. Like it's a big thing on the scheme. But I just don't know how much that line is going to affect them. And I don't like the 49ers, I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to try to keep my bias out of it. Like, they lost McGlinchey, and it's like...
Low-key huge loss.
Trent Williams only getting older.
And we know, like, that fall-off can happen really quickly with, like, O-linemen.
So it's like, tell me out of the Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, Saints, Giants...
The NFC
Commanders.
Sucks.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like there's no way the Seahawks couldn't be a top 3 seed.
No, yeah, honestly, there's no way. Like they definitely could.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Who's their other back?
I think they also, if I'm not mistaken, did they not draft
They drafted another back
from what's his name?
Oh, McIntosh. And they got Noah Fant.
McIntosh was a steal in the 7th round straight up. Like, McIntosh is a great running back. He will be a pro for a long time, I think.
They got Devon Witherspoon. They improved their defense. There's no way, as long as Geno Smith doesn't regress, if Geno plays the same as he did last year, they're a top 3 seed.
That's the problem, though, is this all falls on Geno's shoulders. Like, it really does. Like, there isn't more pressure on, well, no, there is. But he's definitely a top 5. Most pressure on their shoulders guy this year in the NFC, would you say?
Not really, because I don't think
he did just get paid. I guess he did just get paid.
He took a mid-tier contract though. He didn't get paid like a superstar. I feel like the general idea between the Seahawks and Geno is that they understand like what he is, and they can't expect him to be more than what he's been in his career.
And he's also happy to take that money.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't feel like there's any pressure on Geno.
Actually, no, you're right. I'm taking that back. Now that I'm remembering that he's already gotten the pay, there really isn't. Because actually, it almost took all the pressure off. Yeah, the pressure was there last year.
He's paid.
So I'm reverting it. Actually, now he's playing with no pressure, which actually is perfect. Even if he shits the bed, he's making $20 million next year. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, Geno's already 32, so it's kind of like what you get is what you got. But I also think like the addition of JSN is like going to be very underrated because I think DK and Lockett were already a great combo. And JSN, I think he's gonna be better than people think.
So him in a Seahawks uniform is gonna be so effed up.
I think Jordan Addison will have the best rookie year out of the receivers just because he's behind Jay Jettas. Yep. But JSN, Kenneth Walker, I'm excited for the Seahawks this year. I am very excited for the Seahawks. Tariq Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, Jamal Adams.
Tariq Woolen could get 7+ interceptions a year, but I don't think it'll happen.
Wagner's back, right?
Yeah, Wagner's back too. I don't think it'll happen with Tariq though, because I think that nobody's going to throw us away anymore this year. It'll be that turn of events where the numbers go down, but it's actually because they're just a better corner than they were before, and nobody even throws their way. Yeah, I think that's how it'll be this year. Yes. Yeah, no, dude, this team is exciting.
So let's do NFC playoffs real quick. What do you think? I think you got. Here, I'll just give mine. Eagles 1 seed. Cowboys 2 seed, maybe.
Yes.
Cowboys 2 seed. Well, no, it can't be 2 seed. They'd have to be the 5.
That's Renault.
I forgot. I'm in the NBA mode.
You are in the NBA mode.
So Eagles 1. Dare I say Seahawks 2? Dare I say Seahawks 2?
See, I feel like I'm not with you on the Niners thing though, because it's like I agree.
Okay.
I do think the Niners will not be as good as last year, maybe, but only by like 1 or 2 wins. Where it's like I still could see them sneaking into like that 2 to 3 range.
Okay.
I do think the Lions can be like significantly worse though. Like I'm 100% with you on that.
Okay. So Eagles 1 though.
So we're certainly on Eagles.
So it's either Seahawks 49ers for 2.
I think, but
are you banking on the Lions or Vikings being like a 12-win team?
Definitely not banking on the Vikings. Again, I do think we can see the Lions being a 10-11 win team though. So, but the Lions at the 2nd seed just sounds fake. And
I think the 2nd seed comes from the West.
No, I actually am pretty confident putting the Seahawks right there because we know.
Okay, so Eagles, Seahawks.
That's so crazy to say,
right? Though. And then it's got to be the Lions. It's got to be the Lions at 3. That's insane. It's got to be the Lions at 3.
I could see the Lions having a better year than the Niners. Like people hate us right now for saying that. It's fine. Like people aren't on the Lions train yet.
Let's. Okay, what is this? Today is June 14th.
Yes.
The NFL has not played a single snap in preseason. I'm prefacing the take right now. The Lions will be a higher seed than the 49ers come the NFC playoffs in the 2023 season.
Cooking.
Ben Johnson, cooking.
Dude, Niners fans are sick at us.
They're sick.
We're spitting. I don't care.
They are not watching this. All their fans are from when they won Super Bowls. And just because y'all seem to forget quite often, y'all haven't won anything. The Cowboys, I believe, have won a Super Bowl more recently than you have. So if you want to talk about all the recent success, what trophies have you brought home?
No, and I think too, like last thing about the Niners I just want to say, but it's very true. Like when you look at the Niners, everybody who makes an impact on the team, like everyone,
yeah,
literally, they are all super susceptible to injury. It's like if it's another one of those years, the Niners could just suck again. We know they have those years. It's like we said, the Shanny effect. You go from that 1 year of balling out, the next year's an injury-riddled mess.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the same fucking trend? I don't know. I mean, I don't want it to be. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but I'm knocking the mic. I'm getting so heated. It's like, but we know it's possible.
So, Lions 3. Saints. I think the Saints are pretty clear of the 4 seed.
I would say that would be about the perfect range because I do think the Saints would have to really shoot themselves in the foot not to win the South. I mean, just comparing ourselves to other South teams. Not like we're not that good or we're not.
Dark horse Falcons.
No, they are. If Desmond Ridder breaks out though, certainly the guy that's going to be that'll be like that would be the reason that the Falcons could one up us.
Okay, I'm gonna go Cowboys 5 seed. Or 49ers 5 seed.
I think I'd rather have the Cowboys.
Okay, Cowboys 5 seed, 49ers 6 seed. And then you got the Vikings, Giants, Falcons, and Bears all competing for the 7th seed.
I could straight up see, and again, people are going to hate me for this too, but I could like straight up see the Bears stealing that spot. I totally could.
I honestly feel like it's going to be the Bears or the Falcons. I could definitely see the Falcons getting into the playoffs this year. I love what they're doing. I don't love Desmond Ridder. I think they need to give that shit up. Give it up, Falcons fans. He's not the guy. Give it up. Taylor Heineke could take you to the 7th seed, but you're not going to escape the first round.
It's certainly not.
So okay, that's an interesting NFC playoff look. But yeah, that's
because the AFC is just the AFC you're never going to predict. It's just we know the teams though. We know the teams that are going to be there. It's just it would be so hard to put the order.
Going into our last little section here, we're just going to talk about D-Hop and Dalvin Cook real quick. Dalvin Cook is very interesting to me because it's not like he was like trailing off. Like in terms of statistics. Like I've heard that he just wasn't the same from Vikings fans from like what I was reading, just like on the Reddit or whatever. But I mean, he's still like a very valuable asset. I know he's 27. I think that's the magical age where running backs fall off. But like to a team like the Dolphins or a team like the Bengals, he could be that guy like who's going to rotate in. Like, because let's not forget, the Bengals were talking about cutting Joe Mixon for quite a while. I would take Dalvin Cook over Joe Mixon any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I would too.
I mean,
Straight
beyond Miami and Cincinnati, where would you want to see Dalvin Cook go?
See, that's the thing. Like, where would I want to see Dalvin Cook go?
I don't know. I mean, like, it's just, I feel like the options are limited because it's like, okay, like at the end of the day, like if the Rams want to say, fuck it, I'm done with Cam Akers, like they could get him. I mean, it would be so unneeded.
You know, see this. All right, so I'm thinking one right here, bro, and you're going to cheat.
Okay.
Spin zone moment. Stephon Diggs heard rumors that James Cook was about to link up with Dalvin Cook in Buffalo.
I could see
that.
that.
Forget that, bro. Get me with my brother because I've been trying to tell you. I'm just kidding. But I mean, like
the Cowboys
jokes aside,
too.
like him and the Bills, that would be a great spot. Like the Bills is probably one spot, but again, in terms of money, that's really where that becomes an issue.
It's just funny because every time there's a running back rumor of like a top 10 running back being available, the Bills are always thrown in. And it's just like, I think about this, like, Bills, do something. Do something. Like,
that's
do
why
something.
I get upset. That's why we get upset at them.
It's
that's
just
why
like
Stephon's probably upset at them.
They don't make those moves to put them over the top. The Cowboys, I could definitely see.
Cowboys would be scary. I'm trying to think of a team where he would pair and where he would go to and where it would just be like, not even like he's necessarily like the starter. Where it's a team that needs another really good running back.
With Austin Eckler.
I swear to you, I was thinking it, but I just didn't know if it would work with money. But now that you're saying it, yeah, like
I mean, he realistically can't want more than $5 or $6 million a year.
That's what sucks though, is I bet you in his mind he
wants 10. I think
10. I bet if you asked him right now, he'd probably sit. Him and his agent would be sitting at like 10.
Franchise tag money. That's franchise tag money. You're not getting that.
It's positional. It's just not positional value anymore.
No.
It's just not like
the Chiefs.
That was gonna be the one I was gonna say next. Because again, if you're everyone who's running the operation over there, you're not saying to the meeting room, hey guys, what if we just shell out an extra like $5 million to Dalvin? We're gonna shell out to someone else and just cancel it out.
Why not?
Right, like let's do it. And again, if something happens to Pacheco, because there's no doubt, I obviously want Pacheco to be your guy. That's the guy you're putting the asset, like you're putting the starting reps into right now. I get it, rightfully so. He's earning it. He earned it. But there's no doubt, if Dalvin Cook is your number 2, you're going crazy. Like that's like the best number 2 you could have.
Okay, another spot would be the Ravens, because
Ravens would be actually kind of scary.
I'm not in on fucking J.K. Dobbins.
I wish I could be.
He's injured. Not in on him. Another place I could see. There's a lot of options, to be honest. I mean, like, put him in that Jacksonville offense.
I was thinking of that too, because then you get Travis Etienne, where him and they both can really like they would use each other very well. Because I think my thing with both of them is that they're such electric guys, but you don't want to have them playing more than 15 snaps a game.
No,
I think that would be like the perfect situation for both of them. You throw the ball so much that they wouldn't be touching the ball more than 15 snaps if they were splitting carries. It would be like that. Jacksonville actually might be the perfect situation for Dalvin Cook.
The only other spot I could see, it wouldn't be a bad. I don't know if it would necessarily work. It's just like I'm looking at like a depth thing. The only other options, like I could see, like if he paired up with like a Nick Chubb, if he paired up with like a Najee Harris, like those. I mean, like there's a lot of spots. If Dalvin Cook is willing to, which I think he is, I don't think it's anything about like the role. It's more about the money. If he's willing to take that like 1A, 1B approach, there's a lot of teams where he actually fits very nicely.
No, for sure, bro. Like there definitely is. And the last one I was thinking of, but tell me this one doesn't kind of make a lot of sense. Oh, where were they? I need to relocate him here. Bro, who was it that I just had him? I saw a notification and now it slipped me. Hold on.
It's fairly confident he could fit on 12 of the 32 teams comfortably, like nicely.
Dude, no, hold on. Now I'm mad at myself because this was a banger. Like, where did I have him going?
All
right, so again, this was things where it really wouldn't make much sense for them. It would make sense for him, but I think him on the Bucks.
Yeah,
like, I would see that like making sense. Like,
the Bucks are just kind of disgusting.
Yeah, like why would you, if you're the Bucks though, why would you shell out money to a running back? Like I think that's why.
They literally can't. They have $500,000 to spend.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dalvin Cook ain't playing for the $500K.
Yeah, no. So let's finish it up here with D-Hop. I mean, he visited the Titans. He visited New England.
Why the Titans tells you it's about money.
It's about money, even with New England too. I mean, he likes Belichick. Belichick likes him. That's a big thing. But it's just, in my opinion, if you want to win, I mean, none of those teams are going to compete for a Super Bowl.
Dude, I would be telling my agent just to get me a meeting with the Chiefs. And I would literally just go in there with the Chiefs and be like, or the Bills. And I think the Chiefs, Bills, and like the Jets. And I'd be like, I'm trying to think if I was a receiver right now where I'd really want to play. Like that would be like where you'd want to go to, especially if you're in D-Hop situation.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, get me a meeting with like those three, and I'm just going to narrow it down from there.
Yeah. It's like,
if it wasn't about the money.
The most talked about ones were like the Bills and the Chiefs. Like those make the most sense because he is truly one of those players, as we talked about earlier, where he's like, that's that one piece away guy.
No, he really is.
He really is that one piece away guy.
From a mindset standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint, the way he would make other people work. There's a lot of things about someone like DeAndre Hopkins. Like
the only thing too is like I don't think he's ready to accept that like wide receiver like 3 or 4 role.
No,
like he still wants to be like at least a 2.
And he should be. Like we saw when he came back from the suspension. I almost said injury, but yeah, back from the suspension, he's still him. Like,
he would make a lot of sense on like a 49ers.
That should be effed. But
like, think about it. Like
him and Shanahan would be cooking.
Like he's a perfect type of receiver for Purdy.
Yeah, no, like that's literally like a Purdy guy.
And you have a Ayuk, who I think is going to break out this year.
He definitely is.
And you have Samuel, who is injury prone.
See, this is a hot take. I think Ayuk might be the better. Like this time, the one the Niners fans are about to hate me, but I could see like really the way that just the injury trajectory, the way career paths work. I can really see Ayuk being like where everyone starts to go like, oh, is Ayuk better than Deebo Samuel? And again, not in terms of the Deebo hasn't had a higher peak and we don't know how talented Deebo is, but I'm just saying like this year, I can see that being a talking point around halfway of the year. Deebo's not playing as much. He's injured a few games. Ayuk's going for like 70 to 800 every week. He's just consistently like, I can see that happening.
Another team also, and this is probably going to be pretty unpopular and people aren't going to like this. There's 2 teams here. One I think is practical for a development reason. The other is just to load the receiver room a little bit more. I think he would make a lot of sense on the Colts. Michael Pittman, he's kind of becoming that star guy that everyone thought he was. Alec Pierce is young. And they drafted a receiver this year, or I forget who they took. But if you want Anthony Richardson to be throwing to a guy he trusts, Josh Downs, yeah, I think that was it.
Came to me as I was searching.
D-Hop is a guy, if you throw the ball in his direction, he's most likely going to grab it. So my thing is this. If you want to build that confidence in Anthony Richardson, I don't think D-Hop to the Colts is a bad idea. It's not going to make them win or lose a game. But it's about like setting up your quarterback for the future. The other one, I don't know if it would even work contractually. The Dolphins.
If they could get him
like,
there,
you have to put him with the right quarterback. Like he's not gonna be a guy for like a Lamar, in my opinion.
No, I do hear you on that. Like it's like you want the system guy for D-Hop. Like you want someone who plays very in the system.
That's why it's like he's going to a Tannehill or he's going to a Mac Jones. Like,
right.
He'd go to like a Purdy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That actually is very true because I haven't really thought about that. But like that's a good little point. Like it definitely is. That definitely is one of the things he's targeting.
Yeah. He has to be. I mean, where else? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see where he goes. But yeah, that's the free agency shit. That's what it's been so far. I mean, I thought this has been like kind of a great offseason. I really enjoyed it.
It has a lot of things have been resetting that needed to be reset too.
Yeah, I think we're at the end of like big running back contracts, and it's just like turning the page. Also, just to like wrap it up here, is turning the page from like the old star quarterbacks. Like Rodgers is really kind of the last one, right? I mean, like Russ is 2014.
He didn't even crack. A-Rod didn't even crack the top 5 this
Russ
year
was
for
2012.
me.
My bad.
And again, it hurt not to put him on there, but that's how I really knew we were in the new era because when we were doing the top 5. I was like, it feels so wrong I had him on here. But again, it's like I couldn't with the other guys. It just would be wrong to the other guys to put him above certain guys.
Interesting point that I'll leave you guys with. I was thinking about this. Just like how good like quarterbacks have become. Like the better quarterbacks are more like plentiful. Obviously, they're not going to be like the elite type guys, but like guys that are actually like pretty good. I think we're going to get to a point where in maybe 10, 20 years.
Oh, dude, I'm having the alarm bug too.
In about 10, 20 years where it's like most of the quarterbacks can compete and it's going to be like who can build the best team around them. And obviously that is what it is now. But like a Mahomes, Allen, Burrow is going to lift your team. Like I feel like at some point, because like look at Goff. Like the Lions might not even make the playoffs, and that guy was putting up great stats. He took the Rams to a Super Bowl.
No, and it's like we were saying, like a little tangent to leave them. Let's think about this because this is real stuff. Like we were saying, we've been saying this for a while now. The NFL is getting to a point, kind of like how the NBA is, where there is so much talent.
Yeah.
All the other leagues have a ton of talent in them too. It's like there's more talent than like the league can even provide for.
Yeah, they have
which
to
is
expand.
why the leagues that there's good talent in the XFL, USFL. There really is. If you're willing to watch it, that's the point. Is there will be talent across the entire football world. It's not like how things used to be. There are so many talented football players coming into the realm.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I really enjoyed doing the podcast structure.
It's always nice to get back to the pod, bro.
Yeah. It's just nice to talk about. It's like easier to like discuss ideas compared to like just doing like a single set video.
So much easier.
But
so we got to get the pod out for the boys every once in a while.
Yeah. But thank you guys for watching. I'll let you do the outro. You've been doing the outro.
Hey, outro time. Hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks so much, seriously. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a sub, turn on some notifications. We appreciate that all. All of it helps push us in the algorithm. We appreciate you guys so much, and you have a great rest of your day.